going to be digging a trench here, and it's a relatively, you know, straightforward job. It's a trench for an electrical service line for a solar panel installation that this customer is getting, but there are some obstacles here that make it a little bit out of the ordinary. So we're going to be trenching from that garage up to here, to this garage on the main house. So I have to trench through here, then I have this concrete I have to deal with. This part here hopefully is, you know, straightforward. We'll come off the house, up and around. So we have this obstacle here, hand dig around, hopefully not too bad. Then he doesn't want to cut this concrete, so he wants me to try to get under it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a deeper hole here, and then a deeper hole on this side, and that shouldn't be too bad to get under. And then he wants me to try to dig the trench in this rock area, because he didn't want me to get too close to this tree because he's worried about killing it, which is understandable. The biggest concern here excuse me, is there's a sewer line that comes out. His main sewer line comes out this way and runs out to the street roughly along here. Now that should be 3 feet in the ground, because they want to be below the frost line. It should be probably even deeper than that. I'm up in North Jersey today, so hopefully it's at least that deep, because I don't want to find that line, but we shall see. Let me get started. Look at that. I found the sewer line, and it is not nearly as deep as I thought it's supposed to be. It's probably about 20 inches. Thankfully, we knew that it was coming out this area because the homeowner was here when they built this addition, and he showed me some photos. Thankfully, he had them. So I was digging pretty slow the whole time. Anytime I'm digging a trench this close to a house or a building where there could be all types of different underground utilities and such, I take my time. I scrape off a couple inches at a time, real slow. And when I was down there scraping, I felt a little bump. I pulled the bucket out, scraped off the loose dirt, and sure enough, there's the sewer line. But it's intact. Hopefully there's nothing else. I'm only going to that yellow cone there, so about another, I don't know, 20 feet, let's say. I'm gonna keep taking my time. Being that this is only 20 inches and the electrical conduit needs to be a minimum of 18 inches from the top of the conduit to the ground, I think I'm gonna have to dig under this, which most of my trench is already deeper than this. I'm closer to the 2-foot mark. But yeah, I'll dig a little deeper on the other side and just dig a little gully right underneath of it. Turns out, you can see that second line, that's actually the sewer line. This 6-inch is that downspout. So I'm still debating if I'm going to try to get my electrical conduit under both of those, or I might even put a pull box right here. And I think the pull box would be beneficial because the amount of 90s there's going to be in the conduit. So I basically got all the digging done that I could do with the machine. Hit this little drain pipe here, corrugate it. That's no big deal. I'll just lop it there, and put a piece in. But now's the fun stuff. I gotta dig a hole underneath this sidewalk. Alright, so I finished getting the conduit in, getting underneath this sidewalk here. Well, I should say not sidewalk, is a part of their driveway. That was pretty tough. There was a lot of rock in there packed in, but I got it under. You can see right here, there's a drain down there, which I don't know where that ties into, to be honest, if it's that one back there or not, because it runs along the one's running back and one's running forward. Anyways, that's why I had to put that bend in there like that to get the conduit closer to the wall. You can see there it is all the way down. It was 12 sticks, and it basically used it all. I would say I probably have about 10 or 15 feet left, probably less than 15, but anyways, this is the other sidewalk I went under that way. That drain that we hit, I put a little piece of flex pipe in there. And that way. And then over to the garage. There's another drain pipe here, and it's not going to the downspout, so I'm guessing that might be a foundation drain. It's not very deep, but that's my best guess. I'm not too sure. But you can see we're plenty deep. Bottom of the trench is like 2 foot. Requirement is 18 inches, and that 18 inches is from the top of the conduit. So you always got to dig your trench deeper. This trench is dug, excuse me, this trench is dug at least 2 foot deep throughout. And then so when you throw that 2-inch conduit in there, which is actually outside diameter is, I don't know, 2 3/4, you know, if your trench is just at 18, you're not going to be deep enough. But now we're waiting on the inspector. As soon as he gets here, then I'll get to the backfilling. Now sometimes, some towns, I don't recommend doing this unless you know the inspector. Some towns, like back closer to home for me, I would bury most of this conduit and just leave a couple spots open so when the inspector comes out, he could see that it was deep enough. I don't recommend always doing that, like I said, unless you know the inspector and he knows you, because you know, if you have this corner filled in here and then you got a little pit right there and they could see that it's, you know, 2 feet down, and then you got another little pit right here and it's 2 feet down, you know, they know it's not likely that you weren't deep enough, you know, throughout. Anyway, once he gets here, I'll be able to get this wrapped up. I'm gonna change my bucket out now. I got the 1 foot trenching bucket on there. I'm gonna switch to my tilt bucket. You can see here, I was doing some demo and this got whacked. You see how bent it is. I contacted Kubota. They want like 120 bucks for this one piece. This little piece of pipe here. Look at it, it's not even, well, when it's straight, it's a little less than a foot. $120, it's crazy. So now I'm getting the backfilling done, and this turned out being a little bit more difficult than I was anticipating. And the reason was me placing all that dirt on the concrete there, and the amount of rock that was in the dirt. I couldn't just take the bucket and scrape it all in, because the rocks kept getting stuck underneath the blade of the bucket, and then they were putting some scratches in the concrete. So I would scrape most of it off, and I had to leave about a layer of maybe 2 to 3 inches, and that would have to be shoveled in. It definitely turned out to be a little bit more work than I was expecting for the backfill part. You know, generally if you got the dirt piled up on grass, you could just, you know, push it all in, pack it down. If you saw, I put that red tape in there. That's a requirement by code. So if anyone ever digs here in the future, the idea is they'll hit the tape before they you know, get down to the conduit. And now I use my excavator here to pack down the mound, get it as smooth as possible. It'll still need to settle a little bit more. So here's the finished product. That trench ran right up the middle between these two sections of driveway. Went underneath that one section, came around here, made a 90 around here. But this is going to settle. It's going to, you know, as it rains, you know, this will flatten out. And he'll come out, the guy that lives here will come out and deal with getting out some of these rocks and maybe putting down some topsoil, or he'll have his landscaper do it. But there it is, guys. That was the trench job. This took 2 days. Ugh. And today was a long day because the inspector of this town only works 3 days a week and 2 hours each day, or something like that. It's like 4 to 6. And when I called for the inspection, I asked them, I said, you know, is it possible for him to come closer to 4, because I'm trying to backfill the same day? And the response I got was, oh, we'll do our best. Well, I guess their best was Buddy showing up at like 5:58. So I stuck it out because this job was far. That's the biggest thing. This job is 1 hour and 20 minutes from me. So I didn't want to come back up here just to backfill. I have a lot of other stuff on my plate. So anyways, if you're watching this video, you see this, my Kubota up here, this KX91. I got a new piece of equipment coming in. I'm supposed to pick it up tomorrow. I'll probably make a video on that. It's a real big investment, the biggest investment I've ever made. It's a bigger machine. I won't spill the beans on what it is exactly yet. It is an excavator, but it's much bigger than that one. I've been waiting a while, contemplating, and I have a few jobs lined up that need this bigger machine. And I was going to rent, but renting in my area is a real pain in the butt. They almost never have what you're looking for, or it's not available when you need it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pull the trigger. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.